What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to Hunt Ready. This is J-Dub. It's off season now, so it's a season to be getting your gear dialed in. So we're gonna do a little deep dive into the gear I'm planning on using for the 26 whitetail season. This is just my mobile setup here. I do want to mention that I don't strictly hunt mobile stands. I still have presets, ladder stands, hang-ons, everything that's preset. I hunt out of ground blinds. I mean, the mobile part is just kind of a tool for my arsenal. And if you guys aren't using a mobile system in your hunting tactics, you're really kind of missing out on some sits. So that's what I mostly want to cover here is this mobile. We all have ladder stands and hang-ons. I mean, that's kind of just preference on that. But this is kind of how I run this, and I've got everything kind of set up here, but I'm not going to go through like a full in-depth like what's in my pack type video, just kind of how everything's being ran, what I'm using, and you know, how I'm using it. So I've got this is the Lonewolf Custom Gear 0.5 stand, the Lonewolf Custom Gear half pack. I've got 20-inch Beast Gear sticks with holes, and then a Bino harness. I know in the past videos I've wanted to ditch the Bino harness. I just cannot get rid of a Bino harness. It is just, it puts everything in the right spot. I mean, I tried to do it without a Bino harness. I just can't. I have to have my binos on me at all times. I mean, I'm grabbing my binos on walks, on the walk in usually. I mean, it's just an invaluable part of my system. So do I love this pack? No, I'm still trying to find the perfect pack Bino harness here. Still on the look. So, and then the rock climbing harness, minimalist saddle type deal here. So we'll just kind of break into this right now. We'll start with the harness. This is the TX5 minimalist, and I believe it was the 2.0. It doesn't really matter because TX5 is no more. So I don't know if, I think Latitude picked the guy up that ran this. So I'm going to assume they probably have a similar product to this, the Minimalist 2.0. I hope they do, because it is an absolute, just great harness. Zero issues with this harness. I love this thing. It's just super easy to wear. I put it on at the truck and wear it in. Never had any problems with it. I ditched the standard harness with the straps, because by the time you've got your Bino harness, your safety harness, if you're carrying a mobile stand, you got straps on that. You're just covered in straps. I did not care for it, so I wanted to go with something that would get rid of some straps on my shoulders. And this thing did it just great. I don't saddle hunt in the norm. I'm more of a hybrid style saddle hunter. I don't hardly really ever am I sitting in this like a saddle, which is why I wanted a minimalist style saddle, I guess. I will show you. I do use it as a saddle occasionally, and I put a pad on the underside of my seat here so that you can use that to lay your knees on, because you definitely need some kind of padding in your knees if you're going to sit on a saddle. So that's about all we're going to go over on a saddle. Like I said, Latitude picked up the dude that was running that, so potentially they have something similar. Like I said, I really hope they do, because it's great. There's several companies that make a minimalist style saddle, and definitely check those out. So like I said, I got my Bino harness. I cannot get rid of a Bino harness. I'm always reaching for my binos, and just to have them right here, it's great. In normal style hunting out of a ladder stand or even a preset, this doesn't get in the way at all. It's setting up these mobile stands. It just is in the way. And I've got my old harness that was a Alaskan Guide Gear Creations KISS model. Basically it's the same pack, it just doesn't have this pocket on the front. I believe this pocket is my whole trouble. It sticks out another couple inches, and I think that's what's really getting in the way. So I'm looking for a more streamlined harness. I don't want an open style when my binoculars are hanging here. I still like to have some pockets here for a few things, and a lot of this is why I just simply cannot get rid of a harness. I like to have my rangefinders right here, like hanging right here on the side. I don't want them in a separate pocket. I don't want to have to unzip something or unsnap something to get to my rangefinder. It's a very, very important tool to have for a bow hunter, even a rifle or a gun hunter. That can be all the difference in making a shot. So easy, quick, quiet access to a rangefinder is a must for me. So it has to be able to have some kind of ability to hang it on the side of my Bino harness, and I don't want a pocket. So, which is a few of the reasons why I like the Alaska Guide Creations harness. It's got like this little strap that's just here for something. I have no idea what its purpose is, but and maybe it's for this purpose, to hang your rangefinder on there with a belt clip. Don't know. Works great for that. Some of them have like zipper pockets here. I wanted the mesh, just stick something in there. I don't want zipper side pockets. So just a nice mesh pocket it doesn't have to be huge. Very rarely, honestly, I don't even put anything on this side. I use these a lot more for gun seasons. If I'm going to stick some rifle shells in here or shotgun shells, that's what I use this for the most, is putting extra shells over here. Sometimes I'll have a grunt tube in here, but most of the time they're empty. And I know a lot of guys run their milkweed there. So my milkweed, another thing that I like about this one are these elastic stretchy pockets up here on the top. I'll run diaphragm calls on this top one. I'll stick them in there for turkey season, but I don't use these a lot. I know they're for like phones and whatnot, but I don't know whose phone's going to fit in these little pockets anymore. Maybe 10 years ago. But I like it because I got my milkweed up here. So you can see that. Milkweed, I used to use the puffer stuff. Milkweed is 10 times better. It's also an invaluable tool for a bow hunter or a hunter in general. And I just got it in a plastic baggie. I just jam a bunch of milkweed in this plastic baggie, leave it open so that when you pull it, more is going to follow out. I just got it jammed full of milkweed. Slide it in here just so it's barely sticking out, and you have unlimited access to milkweed. That was one of the things I struggled with on getting rid of my harness, is where to put milkweed and be able to get it without reaching back to my pack or whatever. So yeah, Bino harnesses, I love them. Binoculars in here. I've also got screw-in bow holder down here in the bottom. When I ran a Taito knife with the replaceable like Havalon blades, my Taito ran in this. And then in here is just my headlamp and something I changed up from last year. Huge improvement in just space savings. I used to carry pruners. Last year I found this, I don't even know what it's called. Oh, Flip and Zip saw from Ready Edge, Outdoor Edge. Just a kick-ass little saw. I mean, it'll chew through stuff no problem. It's super sharp. So this thing works really good. Pruners are kind of a pain to carry because they got the sharp tip on them. You got to have a cover on that or it's poking holes in all your stuff. So this thing here, lighter than pruners. I mean, super thin, doesn't take up any room, rides right in here because a lot of times as you're climbing, you need to get little twigs and stuff out of your way. So nice little saw that fits perfectly in this pocket. If I didn't have that pocket, it could go right in here with my binoculars. I'm also looking to get a smaller sized pack. I'm probably going to ditch the 10x42s and go with, I got a couple of sets here of the 8x32s. So that's probably what I'm going to be running from now on. They take up hardly any room in this one. So I could get a substantially smaller Bino harness if I ran these. And I'm kind of looking at the FHF gear, the Pro M. I like that style. It looks pretty low pro. So that's probably the harness I'm going to go with. And then the headlamp, I don't need to run that in here. I just keep it in here. It could ride in this pack, no problem. That's not something too imperative or something you got to grab quick. So the Bino harness, that's how I run that. Can't get away from it. It is here to stay. So Lonewolf Custom Gear half pack. I tried for several years finding the perfect bow hunter, minimalist, well laid out pack, and finally come across this half pack. It is a perfect pack for the bow hunter that's not wanting to carry a bunch of crap. So that said, I did try going packless, and I could, other than filming stuff. So as little stuff as I carry, I still want to have a pack to put all my crap in. So this is about as small and as well organized of a pack as you can get, and have the ability to put some stuff in there if you really need to. My outer layers, if I'm packing outer layers in, I stick them under here between the pack and my sticks. You can see my sticks. I just lay them on the seat shelf. There's so many people that are always like, how do you carry bee sticks on a custom gear stand? It's like, dude, there's a shelf here. Lay your sticks on the shelf. I mean, yeah, some of the other sticks, they might stick into the, and I've got their compact, their micro compacts or whatever they call them. I still like how this lays on the seat better than trying to get those in here. So the beast gear sticks are like my favorite. But back to the pack here. Like I said, this is how I run it. Now, I don't always have rattle antlers on here. I just stuck these on here to kind of show you. I do set the bungees and stuff up on this half pack differently than how it comes. They've got some bungees on here that are kind of in a useless location. So those come off and I put my own on, make them longer, and use these tension locks to hold everything tight. So this is exactly pretty much how this came, other than I just threw these antlers on here just now to kind of show you. This is how this pack ended the season for me. So from beginning of season to end of season, this is the pack. And the pack's set up, like I said, I don't strictly mobile hunt. So the pack's set up, I can take this off my stand and go to my ladder stand. Everything's there. I can take this off, go to my ground blind. Everything I need's there. I don't have to change packs for different stands or different style hunts. This pack is ready to go. Everything I need, and nothing that really I don't need is in here. I've got it streamlined down to the absolute bare minimals. There's nothing in here that I'm not grabbing for on pretty much every hunt. So here it is. This is how it rides on the stand. So the custom gear stands, they've got this hook on top. You can see it right here, and it built into the seat post. And then there's a grab handle on the pack itself. Let me get it in here close. So see that? So that pack and the stand are designed for that to just kind of hang on there. But it gets kind of floppy. It'll flop around. So I've got some bungees. Spin this around. I got some bungees that are on the D loops of the shoulder strap, where the shoulder straps would go. I don't use the shoulder straps. I use the crossbody strap on here. So I just put bungee cord on that, and then I hook it over these tabs on the stand, and that helps hold that pack tight to the stand. Also, you can pack your clothes and stuff behind this. The bungee, you know, I don't have it, so it's super, super tight when there's nothing behind it, but it's tight enough to hold that pack in there. So you can jam coats and stuff like that in there and not have to worry about it getting lost. Now, I've carried this stand, I've crawled with this stand through some really thick, just undergrowth crap. It holds in here really, really good. I have not lost anything off of here. I did have one night where the seat came out of the seat lock and dropped down, and my sticks and everything were still on there. It was fine, but it was thick, nasty stuff. Coming out in the dark, it's just a pain in the butt in some of these spots that I got. But just with these bungees, everything rides tight. I don't need, you know, ratchet straps or cam straps holding anything on here. Everything's easy to get on and off in freezing cold temperatures when your hands are freezing. You know, a lot of stuff seems like a really good idea in the shop, you know, in temperature controlled environment. You'll find out how much of a bad idea it is when it's below zero and you're freezing trying to get all your crap tied up and get out of the woods. So that's the ultimate test, really, in my opinion. So this has all been, I've ran this way for several years. This works great for me. So anyway, that's the pack. That's how it sits on there. I'll show you kind of some of the things that I've done differently on the pack. And I believe it's designed this way. This is, right here is one of the shoulder straps to use this if you're going to carry it like a backpack. I just tie it around itself, the pack here, and then this is how I hang it from the tree. So, and I changed out the buckles on the straps. This is just one of the Night Eyes S-biners or whatever. I got that on there instead of the plastic clip. That plastic clip can be kind of a pain in the ass when it's really, really cold out. So like I said, you want everything to be really easy with gloves on, frozen fingers. These carabiners from Night Eyes just work really good. Snap on, snap off with ease. I did take some hockey tape around the plastic parts and some heat shrink on the metal parts of the carabiner to make it quiet. I'm gonna pop these off of here. So that, like I said, that's how I run it around the tree. That's how I hang it on the trees. Sometimes you get to the point where the trees are too big. So you've also always have that option. You can use your handle to hang stuff, to hang it. But this is actually stretched all the way out there. And then it's relatively easy to adjust these straps. You can just run that in a little bit. And I'll usually run that in so it ain't so long hanging on this thing. But that's how I run that one. So I ditch all the other straps. I don't have the strap, you know, the chest strap on there. Just one strap. This, like I said, this is the shoulder strap if you're going to wear this like a backpack. This is only a hunting pack. You know, if I'm scouting or going out hanging cameras, I don't wear this pack. I have better packs that are way more comfortable if you're going to wear them for a long time. But on that note here, this is the second one. The first pack that I had, the first half pack, got sent back in. Wasn't nothing super critical, but the stitching on these side pockets, and so these are designed to where you can shrink these side pockets down if you don't want to carry something large in there. I leave them out all the time, but all this bar tacking here to make this kind of a molly setup on this side here, all that it came loose, and so it was just kind of hanging there. They took care of it. It wasn't the easiest process, but they did take care of it. these were in really high demand at the time, so I had to wait until like basically the season was over. Not a big deal. And I probably wouldn't have noticed it, but like I said, I was trying to get rid of my Bino harness, and I was looking for places to hang my rangefinder, and that's when I noticed all these bar tackings were coming out. So I was really kind of disappointed in that, because that's what kind of keeps your, or was going to keep my rangefinder from sliding all over. But I did get a new one, and got a couple hunts on it before season ended, but not too many. But like I said, I change up the bungees when you get them. This bungee here is up on top. I don't know what you would put in this little small spot right here. So I took that one off. I run it through these MOLLE down here on this outer pocket. You can hang coats. You can hang way more and bigger stuff here with this, how I have it, than how theirs comes. And then on the sides, they've got it like over here, over this pocket, they've got it kind of X-weaved. I take this one off. There's nothing there that I want to put. This side just always holds my linesman's rope / tether, and it's just a homemade jobby off, you know, I bought the static line off Amazon, a Ropeman 1 tender, and a carabiner. So that's just that. That's always here. This side, I don't always take my GoPro. Usually I do, but that rides over here. Also my pull-up rope, I threw this in here just so I didn't forget to cover it. This rides in the front right pocket, cargo pocket of my pants. But I threw that in here just because. But so this pocket here, like I said, it's got my GoPro on a little bendable tripod thing from Amazon. I'll kind of show you how I've got this set up. So you can see I got a bungee over the GoPro, and then I've got this tension lock on it right here. So here's the GoPro. This is just one loop of bungee right here. Like I said, there's kind of X'd through here for a compression style bungee up in this area. I just wanted it, you can kind of just see how that loop is. So it's just looped through those two. And I just stick my tripod down through those, pull that one tight, like that. And then you see my GoPro is kind of sitting here. I'll take this leftover bungee of the loop and go right over top of it, and that holds that in there. It ain't going anywhere. Don't have to worry about losing it. So even if it were to come off of my ball head here on this tripod, the camera is still attached to the pack. So that's worked good so far. Knock on wood so I don't lose my GoPro. And then, you know, I got my camera arm back here. It's just the original Lonewolf camera arm. It's got this pocket, it worked great. Like I said, I'm not going to go through everything, all the stuff in here, but half pack, boom. If you guys want a video, I can do a breakdown of the gear inside of there. But it's really just different for everybody. I threw a few new things in there for this year, which I might do a video on those later, but for right now, just my main components here. So like I said, this is the 0.5 from Lonewolf Custom Gear, the extended sidekick on it. I do have the 0.75. I think the only time I ran that 7.5 was when I hunted with my daughter. That was it. Otherwise, this 0.5 is my go-to. This stand is absolutely perfect. Perfect size, easy to hang. Just works really, really nice. I like the shorter seat post than the 18-inch on the 0.75, or that's a 21 on the 7.5. This is an 18. But they're both a standard, whatever they come with. They're not an upgraded post or a seat. I might, just for giggles here, I might put that 0.75 seat on here. Might be a little bit nicer, especially for the knee area. Be a little bit wider if you do sit in your saddle to rest your knees. Have a little bit more of an area there. But so the beast gear sticks, they just sit right here on here. Bungee cords again that are permanently attached on the seat on one side, and there's little hooks. I've kind of went over this before. There's little hooks on the back of the seat. I just crisscross these, like they're always attached to the front here, and that's what holds my sticks on the stand, so I can bust them apart. And we'll kind of just finish up this stand here. I've got tape on some spots just to help kind of quiet everything down. I've got a Kafaru belt pouch on the bottom of the seat, and in between the belt pouch is a piece of foam padding. Just like I said, that's so you can rest your knees on that while you're sitting in the saddle. Most of the time I'm standing. It's nice, you can take that saddle and just kind of lean, and so you're leaning, you don't have to sit. That's typically how I'm going, between that and sitting, swap back and forth between the two. Most of the time I'm standing, especially in the prime times. So when you're sitting against a tree, you know, you got that padding up here to rest your knees on. And the only thing I've got in the belt pouch is the cam strap for the stand. Yep. So that's the only thing that's in that pouch, just because I really can't find a great way to keep that permanently attached to the stand. So that works good. And I use my linesman belt to hold the stand to the tree while I'm setting it up. So it's kind of hands-free. Once you get to the top step, I'll take my stand off my back, run it up through my linesman's belt while it's against the tree, and I'll just kind of push the belt into this area and slide this around the tree wherever I want it. And that holds your stand in the tree, so you can run your cam strap, all that hands-free. Works really, really good. But that's the stand of choice for me right now. Beast Gear sticks. So I've done a couple different mods on these. I don't remember if I did a video on them with the daisy chains. And then also I've got the Lonewolf custom gear cabelators. I've tried a couple different companies' cabelators. I like the custom gear cabelators because they've got these angles on the where it attaches to the stick, and that holds your cable out from the tree, because the cable will have a tendency to kind of come back into the tree, and it's hard to find with your toes, especially coming down and especially in the dark. So this kicks that cable out, and it stays right in the same level as your steps, and so it's just super easy to get your foot into that cable. Cabelators can be a pain in the ass. I don't love them, but it's sure a lot cheaper than another stick, and you know, also lighter. So I just use this is also from that Night Eyes company. There's several companies that make these straps. I believe like Titan straps was the ones that first made them. That's what I used to hold these tight together. I was using a bungee, which was fine, but this is just ultimately easier to use than a bungee cord even, because you just run it through here, pull it tight, and it's off, just like so. And then that holds all these super, super tight. Like I said, I ran... so two of my sticks have cabelators, the other one does not. But other than that, they're the same. Cabelators stowed just like so. Wrap them around that Versa button or whatever you want to call them from every brand. And then these just kind of hang down. This is your cable. So you can see how that cable pushes that out, and it's just right there. So easy to get with your steps there. So I've used daisy chains in the past to hang these. Better than cam straps. I liked them. The thing with these Beast Gear sticks, they bite a tree. I've never seen a stick, or I've not used a stick yet that has bit the tree better than these Beast Gear sticks. So pretty much anything will work pretty good on these. The daisy chains work pretty good. They're hard to get tight. Sometimes they're really loose, and what you end up with, you know, you got it kind of at the level you want, and by the time you get it down and tight, it's too low, and so then you gotta redo it, and just some fiddle factor in there. So I went with these. It's from the Amsteel guy. They're the USA Pro Amsteel ropes, I guess you call them. And these things have far exceeded my expectations. These things are awesome. I love these things. This one I still kind of just use a zip tie to keep that tight on this. I like to keep the whatever attachment method permanently attached to my sticks, just so they're always right there. So I just kind of put a zip tie around that loop to shrink this loop. Otherwise that loop's, you know, like so. I did something different on the other ones. I ran it through itself. And I like that better than the zip ties, but I haven't done that on this one yet. So that one still got the zip tie. But you just run it around the tree, and then there's videos on his channel showing how it works. It just is, it gets really, really tight, and you don't have to try to find the daisy chain to try to find the right one. I've got a daisy chain here if you're not familiar with it. And I can do a video on these as well. But the Amsteel guy, he's got plenty of videos on these USA Pros. I might go with a Pro, the bigger size to hang the stand. I might mess around with that this year, try to get a stand USA Pro and try that. But here's a daisy chain. This daisy chain is from Tethered. Like I said, I keep this in my pack just for in case. But so you would attach this side to your stick, and then you run it around the tree, and then you find one of these chains that's going to fit onto your Versa button. Like I said, it never works out perfectly. It's always either too tight or too loose. And sometimes if it was too tight, but you could just barely get this over that, it was an absolute bear to get it off after you had it on the tree. These things, I mean, you can get them reef tight, and you just pull your tender and it just comes right off. Like I said, this was what probably, these USA Pros was probably one of the best modifications to this system that I've done. It just is so much easier and simple. And I mean, ultimately lighter, more compact, and just easier to use. So that's about all I got on the main breakdown of that system there. So if you guys have any questions on this, you want me to go into further detail on anything, I probably will throw up a video showing how to hang these sticks. And if you want me to do a better pack breakdown of what I'm carrying into the woods, just throw it in the comments. But this is the main system that I'm using and will use, other than possibly changing out that Bino harness. But I'll always have a Bino harness, so can't do without it. But that's the main deal here, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. It all helps the channel, and I do greatly appreciate it. So see you guys on the next one.